Hi, thanks for taking the time to watch this and any other videos that you may have watched. This one is going to be pretty quick, I think. It's really more just of a status update. Um, I'm in a position now where I have decided to continue on my life path. I've been dormant, hiding, hibernating, however you want to look at it, for the last 3 years, and have just taken some decisive actions to engage in something that gives me purpose. And this Sage Gourmand concept that I have been developing, working on, evolving for the last probably 6 or 8 years. Um, this is round two. I came up a little bit short the last time around, but I feel like I've got a better handle on myself, a better understanding of what makes me me, and a better understanding of how I manifest the things around me. Um, I've been playing with that for years and years, and I talk about it in my other videos, but this is the beginning of a new era for me. And it's starting right here. We're in Rockport, Texas, right on the coast, kind of a small fishing town, touristy. We've been here since October, and this is May now, so about 6 months we've been in this area. We spent 2 months here last year in the off season. We're just coming out of the off season now, so we're getting a better feel for what a heavily visited tourist area, seasonally changing. It's a whole new dynamic for us. When we first moved to San Antonio, it was cool, fun, exciting to be in a more of a tourist destination. And it's interesting being in a smaller dynamic now that is really heavily influenced by summer traffic. You kind of got lost in San Antonio being San Antonio because it's such a big city, and there's so many other things on there that the tourist aspect of it, I mean, you notice it. You go down to the Riverwalk, you go to Six Flags or SeaWorld, and you're seeing people that are traveling there for fun, entertainment, business maybe. And this is different. This is more uh, a very small town living that is very heavily visited by uh, tourists from around the state, around the country, for fishing mostly, and outdoor activities, water activities, boating, kite surfing, any of that stuff. And we've really always wanted to live in an environment like this. So when we made the decision to come down here last summer, and that this is where we were going to set up shop for at least a year, had no idea that we were going to, if we were going to like it down here, we were going to give it a try and then maybe see where we were, where we want to go next. But now that we're here and the way things are evolving, the way things are growing, um, for me personally, I think this is the perfect place to launch this endeavor, which is my gluten-free restaurant concept, which I would love to build up into a national chain. So this is it. This is the beginning. Rockport, Texas is where I've decided to try and start it. We'll see how it works out. I quit my job 2 days ago. I've been reaching out and making contacts locally here to try and get the resources set up here that I need to open this restaurant. My plan is to start off small, little food pop-ups. It is a way for individuals that don't have startup capital to build a reputation, build a following, a clientele, and also build enough money to get a full service restaurant up and running. And I know people that have done it, not personally, but I know through my research and people that I follow on social media that have taken this route to make it happen. And as much as I would love to have somebody come along and say, hey, I've got $1 million I want to invest in you to do this. One, I don't like asking people for anything, especially money. And two, everything has to be done my way. And the second I accept financial backing from somebody, there's another interested party that's going to want to have influence on what I do and how I do it. And to me, that's unacceptable. And it's the thing that's really held me in check for the last 20 years or more. So this is the route I'm going. I've reached out to the Chamber of Commerce. I have a meeting with them on Monday to discuss the dynamics of local business and the tourist trend, and get some ideas of, numbers in the summer versus numbers in the winter months. And I have reached out to the health department to get some more information about local restaurants, how they enforce local codes. I have a couple different directions that this could take. I just need to feel out and figure out which one is going to be the best for this environment. And that's the best part about this plan, is it is fluid, it is flexible. It's got a lot of different ways that it could go, and I just need to be alert and aware of the circumstances and how this is going to unfold, how I'm going to make this successful, how I'm going to build this foundation for something that I'm hoping is going to be a national institution. Lofty goals, I know, but that's what it is, and that's what I'm working on. So we have a little bit of money in the bank, and a little, enough to get us by. We're not going to be starving for the next couple of months. I've reached out to a few different local restaurant operators to try and again gather more information about the dynamic of running a restaurant specifically in an area that has high traffic during part of the year and low traffic during the other part of the year. How do you sustain, capitalize on the local residents and take advantage of the higher traffic when the months allow for that? But it's a dynamic that I've never had to really work in. I think the opportunity for making a lot of money during the peak season is there, but if you're not getting the local traffic, then you're feast or famine. You're going to be riding high on the hog during the summer months, and you're going to be struggling to make ends meet during the off months if you're not careful. So there's aspects to this business plan that I need to iron out, which shouldn't be a problem. I have a pretty good idea of how all that is going to play out, but I just need some of the locals around here to give me some assistance. And I definitely feel like the Chamber of Commerce is the first place to go, because again, being a small town, they're going to have more intimate knowledge of the businesses that are here up and running. Same with the health department and the health inspector. They're going to have intimate knowledge of local owners, and there is a lot of chain stuff around here, but there is a lot of small mom and pop locally owned restaurants around here. So it's a nice environment to be in. The big chain, I mean, most of the big chain restaurants that are here are are the fast food variety, and I'm shooting for a little bit higher than that. So I'm not going to be competing with Burger King and Taco Bell and Pizza Hut and Domino's and all those types of places that are here. And honestly, I'm not going to really be competing with anybody else because my business is geared more towards, well, my health needs. A couple years ago, I developed a gluten intolerance, and as much as I love the hospitality industry, I love going out to eat, I love experimenting with other people's foods, I have to be very careful now what I eat. And there's a lot of times that I go out and I can't have what I want because of the gluten issue. So the concept that I have been working on for the last couple of years is creating that high-end food environment that is completely gluten-free. So YFGF is my concept. Your favorite's gluten-free, and I I think it'll be a good fit for this area. Um, and again, I think nationally, I think it would be it's going to be a good concept. It would be what the kind of place that I would be looking for, and we have found a few places when we were traveling. It's definitely easier to find in places like Manhattan or other big cities where you've got such a heavy concentration of people, and there's the percentage of people that have a gluten intolerance compared to the total number of people that are there. You've got a bigger market there. Now, the key factor in all of my food and all of my recipes is that they're really not any different than what you would get in any type of a restaurant, other than the fact that I'm using a little bit higher priced products that are gluten-free alternatives. So I've been experimenting with that for years. I was trained as a chef, so I've got the background, the culinary background to play with different recipes and understand the dynamics of a dish, and know that, all right, well, the gluten in this dish is a factor that makes it what it is. Can I replicate that in a gluten-free manner? And honestly, I mean, I have. It's been fun. It's been fun playing around with that for the last couple of years and getting to be able to enjoy the foods that I've always loved without having to get sick from eating it. So it's good, and it's a concept that I think that is going to benefit Beam, but I think there's a lot of people nationwide that are going to benefit from having something like this available in their market, because as much traveling as we've done around the United States over the last 2 years now, that's been the biggest obstacle that we've had to overcome is the dietary needs. And especially in the smaller towns that you don't have any restaurants that are selling gluten-free menu items, and if they do, there's only a handful, or not even a handful, just maybe one or two. Like, all right, well, this is gluten-free. Well, yeah, steak is gluten-free, thanks. But what if I want chicken wings, or what if I want a pizza, or what if I want pasta, or what if I want a sandwich? That's the things that I miss having to eat gluten-free. And now there's definitely more options available now than there was 10 years ago, but there's just the most disappointing thing about going into a full-service restaurant and loving food the way I do, and looking at it and being like, well, that sounds great, can't eat it. That sounds great, can't eat it. That sounds great, can't eat it. Well, I love that, but I can't eat it here unless I make it, make it myself. But so it's good. I think that it's a very lucrative idea. I think there's a lot of money to be made in that market, and it's going to fulfill a need for people like me who, on occasion, want to go out to eat and not have to cook, but don't have to worry about, am I going to be able to find something to eat? Am I going to be stuck eating a salad or, you know, a plain grilled chicken breast? And as much as I love steak, I don't want to eat it at every meal. Now, there was a time in my life that I thought I would eat steak at every meal, but beside the point. So the idea is food freedom for people with gluten intolerance, and um, to give myself an outlet to be creative and the opportunity to provide that joy in life that is the core of what Sage Gourmand is as a concept. And I'm excited about it. I'm really looking forward to it. We're May right now. I figure in probably 2 weeks, I should have most of the stuff ironed out locally here to see if this is actually something that I'm going to be able to do in this market and um, in this dynamic. So we'll see. I've taken the steps, I've taken the actions to start the process, and I'm happy with the results so far. I'm happy with myself, and I feel for the first time in a long time that I am free to do whatever I want, and that is a fantastic feeling. So figure out what you need to do to reach that yourself. The moral of this story.